You work twice as hard, but you're getting half the recognition. It's not a lack of talent, it's a lack of the right language.
You've felt it, haven't you? That moment in a meeting or a group chat where you have the perfect solution, but you stay silent because you don't know how to phrase it without sounding unprofessional.
So you watch someone else say exactly what you were thinking, and they get the credit. You continue to send long, hesitant emails that people ignore, and you keep saying yes to extra work simply because you don't have the words to say no with authority.
It's time to change that dynamic. Today, we're giving you the 35 strategic phrases that transform how you are perceived in any workplace, whether you are a student, a freelancer, or an office professional.
And you absolutely cannot skip part 9. We are sharing the recovery pivot, the exact phrase to use when you've made a high-stakes mistake. Using this one sentence doesn't just fix the error, it actually makes you look more competent than before you made the mistake.
I'm Liam, and this is Emma. Welcome to Business English for Success. Let's stop being overlooked and start being respected.
We begin with the foundation of your professional brand, building authority in daily interactions. Your daily messages are your professional signature. If you apologize for simply existing, saying sorry in every line, you accidentally project an image of uncertainty.
Exactly. We need to move away from phrases like, sorry to bother you, or I was just wondering. Instead, let's look at phrase 1, I'm following up on.
This is a game changer. It's not a demand, it's a standard check-in. It signals that you are organized and that you value the timeline of the project. It creates a culture of accountability.
Let's look at how this changes the vibe of a conversation. For example, instead of saying, sorry, did you see my email? I know you're busy. You should try this. Hi, Liam. I'm following up on the email I sent yesterday. I'd appreciate your thoughts when you have a moment.
Option B is stronger because it treats your time and their time as equally important. Now, Liam, what about the people pleaser trap, when someone asks for help and your schedule is full?
Most people just say, I'm too busy, which can sound uncooperative. Instead, use phrase 2. I'd like to align on priorities before I take this on.
I love this. You aren't refusing, you are asking for strategic alignment. You're forcing the team to see your current workload without complaining about it. It's a very high-level way to manage expectations.
And for those ongoing tasks, use phrase 3. Just a quick update to let you know I'm still on track with blank. I'll have it to you by blank.
This is proactive communication. It stops people from needing to ask you for updates. When you provide the information before it's requested, you demonstrate that you are a reliable professional who owns their work.
Let me ask you, have you ever stayed silent in a call because you didn't want to look like you weren't getting it?
We've all been there. Especially if English is your second or third language, the fear of looking unprepared is real.
But that fear is a paradox. If you guess the instructions and make a mistake, you look much less professional than if you had just asked for clarity.
Break the cycle. Use phrase 4. To ensure I've got this right, could you clarify?
Notice the framing. You aren't confused, you are focused on accuracy. You are a detail-oriented professional ensuring the best outcome. Let's see how this works in a real conversation. Emma, we need to optimize the workflow for the next project immediately.
To ensure I've got this right, could you clarify which specific parts of the workflow are our top priority right now?
See? That sounds like a partner, not a student. Now, what if you want to suggest a change without sounding difficult?
Use phrase 5. I was wondering if we could also consider... It's an invitation to a better solution. You're not saying the current plan is wrong, you're saying there might be an even better way.
And if someone else's plan seems a bit unclear, use phrase 6. Could you walk me through the reasoning behind...
This is the most professional way to challenge an idea. Instead of saying, I don't think that will work, you are asking them to show their logic. It's polite, but it helps identify gaps in the plan very quickly.
These phrases turn you from a passive listener into an active contributor.
We've mastered the daily habits and the art of asking, but now we move to the most sensitive area, setting boundaries.
If you've ever felt like people take your yeses for granted, the next part is for you. We're discussing the professional no. Emma, we have to be honest with our audience. Saying no is one of the most difficult skills to master in any language. We want to be helpful, we want to be seen as team players, but saying yes to everything often leads to a decrease in work quality and eventually burnout.
You're right, Liam. For many professionals, especially those using English as a second language, saying no can feel too blunt or even rude. If you simply say, I can't do that, it might be misinterpreted as a lack of motivation.
Exactly. In Business English for Success, we focus on how to decline a request while maintaining your reputation for excellence. Let's look at phrase 7. I'd love to help, but I'm currently at capacity.
I want everyone to pay attention to that word, capacity. It's a very high-level professional term. It doesn't just mean you are busy, which can sound disorganized. It means your professional bandwidth is fully utilized. You are stating a logical fact, not an emotional one.
It sounds like a high-performing system running at peak efficiency. Let's look at a quick example of how this works when a colleague asks for an unplanned favor. Imagine I come to you with a request. Hey Emma, I'm struggling with these slides. Could you take over the design part for me? It'll only take an hour.
I'd love to help with the design, Liam, but I'm currently at capacity with the month-end reports. I won't be able to give it the attention it deserves right now.
Notice what Emma did there? She made it sound like she's doing me a favor by not helping because she wants to ensure the quality remains high.
It's all about the why. Now, what if the request comes from a supervisor? You can't always say no directly. Use phrase 8. I can certainly prioritize this. Which of my current tasks should I move to the back burner to make room?
This is a brilliant strategic move. You aren't refusing the work, you are asking for workload management. It forces the other person to realize how much you are already accomplishing.
And for those minor distractions, use phrase 9. I'm not the best person for this. Have you considered reaching out to name or department? This is what we call strategic redirecting. It saves your time and helps the other person find the actual expert. It's a win-win for the company. Disagreement is actually a sign of a healthy workplace, but only if it's handled with grace. If your English is too direct, people might feel defensive, but if it's too soft, your valuable ideas might get ignored.
Many people stay silent because they don't want to cause tension, but silence is often interpreted as agreement. This is how teams end up following a plan that everyone secretly knows might fail.
Let's change that with phrase 10. I have a slightly different take on this.
A different take. It sounds creative and collaborative. It's much more professional than saying, I disagree, or that's wrong. You are simply adding a new version of the idea to the discussion. Imagine a colleague makes a suggestion you don't fully agree with. I think we should move the entire budget to social media ads.
I have a slightly different take on this. While social media is important, I think we should also consider keeping a portion for email marketing to maintain our existing client base.
That feels like a partnership. But what if someone is really pushing an idea and you need to slow the momentum down? Use phrase 11. I see your point, however, I have some concerns regarding...
Notice we use the word concerns instead of problems. Problems act like a wall, but concerns are something the team can discuss and resolve together. This keeps the conversation focused on professional alignment.
And for those moments when a discussion starts to feel a bit too heated, use phrase 12. Let's take a step back and look at the objective here.
This is a true leadership move, no matter what your job title is. You are resetting the conversation and moving the focus away from who is right and back to what is the goal.
It's like being the calm in the storm. People naturally trust colleagues who can maintain clarity and professionalism under pressure.
We've covered how to communicate daily and how to handle different perspectives, but what happens when you are the one presenting the information?
When all eyes are on you and you need to give an update, that's where many people's confidence begins to waver.
In Part 5, we're going to share the confidence boosters, phrases that will make you sound like an expert, even if you're feeling a bit nervous inside. You'll definitely want to see this if you ever have to share your work with a group.
Okay, Emma, let's talk about the spotlight moment. You're asked to give a quick update on your project. Your heart starts racing, you know the facts, but you're afraid your English might sound a bit choppy or not as polished as you'd like.
This is a very common feeling, Liam, but here's a secret. Sounding like an expert isn't about using complicated words. It's about using structured language. It's about how you frame the information to show you have full control.
So instead of a long, rambling explanation, what's the professional way to open?
Use phrase 13. I'd like to give you a high-level overview of.
High-level overview. That's a classic corporate term. It tells the listener, I value your time. I'm giving you the big picture first, and we can dive into the details later if you need.
Exactly. Now, when you want to highlight a positive result, don't just say, it was good. Use phrase 14. We've seen a significant uptick in.
Significant uptick. That sounds so much more analytical than it went up. It sounds like you're looking at data and trends, which builds immense trust in your expertise.
And if you've improved a system or made things faster, use phrase 15. We decided to streamline the process by.
Streamline, another powerhouse word. It means you made something more efficient. In any career, being a streamliner makes you an invaluable asset. Let's see how these phrases work together in a quick update. Emma, can you update us on the new filing system?
Certainly. I'd like to give you a high-level overview. We've streamlined the process by moving everything to the cloud, and as a result, we've seen a significant uptick in team collaboration.
Whistles. That sounds incredibly polished. It's all about those specific vocabulary choices. But Emma, giving updates when things are going well is the easy part. What happens when the situation is messy? Let's be real. Sometimes at work, nobody has all the answers. Goals change, instructions are vague, and you might feel caught in the middle.
Uncertainty can create stress, but a true professional doesn't panic. They use language to create clarity out of chaos.
So if you're not sure about the next steps, instead of saying, I'm confused, what do we say to maintain our professional image?
Use phrase 16. There seems to be some ambiguity regarding.
Ambiguity. That is a very sophisticated word. It signals that you've identified a technical gap in the communication rather than admitting a personal misunderstanding. It keeps the focus on the situation.
Exactly. And to move forward, use phrase 17. Let's align on the next steps to ensure we're moving in the right direction.
Align on the next steps. You'll hear this in top-tier companies every day. It's a call to action. It shows you are a solution-oriented person.
And what if you need a little more time to analyze a complex situation? Use phrase 18. I need to give this some further thought before I commit to a direction.
Further thought. This is so much more powerful than I need to think about it. It sounds like you are being deeply responsible and thorough in your decision-making. To see the impact, let's compare two ways of handling a moment of confusion. Instead of saying something like, I don't know what to do next,
You should try this. There is some ambiguity here. Let's align on the next steps together. When you use these phrases, you take control of the situation. You transition from being a passive observer to a leader of the conversation.
We've covered expert updates and managing the unknown, but we're heading into one of the most sensitive areas of professional life.
We're talking about feedback. In Part 7, we'll show you how to offer suggestions that actually strengthen your professional relationships. Don't go anywhere. This is the key to long-term career success.
Giving feedback is one of the most delicate tasks in a professional setting. If you're too blunt, you might create unnecessary tension. If you're too vague, nothing improves.
This is a common challenge for our global audience. You want to help your team or your colleagues improve, but you don't want to damage the professional relationship. You want to build trust, not break it.
Exactly. That's why we focus on solution-oriented language. We talk about the work, not the person. Use phrase 19. I have some feedback on how we can take this to the next level.
Take this to the next level. I love that phrasing. It's inherently positive. You aren't saying the work is bad. You're saying it's a great foundation that can be made even better.
It's an invitation to excellence. Now, when you need to point out a specific area for improvement, use phrase 20. I noticed a small discrepancy in...
Discrepancy. That is a high-level professional word. It sounds much more analytical than mistake or error. A discrepancy is just a logical point that needs to be aligned. It keeps the conversation calm and focused on the facts.
And to make your suggestion feel like a partnership, use phrase 21. Would you be open to exploring a different approach for...
Would you be open to is a powerful question. It gives the other person a sense of agency and choice. It makes them much more receptive to your ideas because you are respecting their professional judgment. Let's compare the two ways of delivering this feedback. Instead of a blunt command like, "This is wrong, fix it,"
Try saying this. I noticed a small discrepancy here. Would you be open to exploring a different approach to ensure total accuracy?
that sounds like a true professional. But Emma, what about when the pressure is on us? Specifically, when we're facing the most common workplace stressor, the deadline.
Deadlines are the heartbeat of any business. But let's be realistic. Sometimes the workload is more complex than expected. Many people make the mistake of staying silent until the last minute and then sending a panicked apology.
That approach damages trust. In Business English for Success, we teach you to communicate early and clearly. This is how you maintain your reputation even when things don't go perfectly.
To ask for more time without sounding unprofessional, use phrase 22. Based on the current scope, I may need some additional time to ensure the quality remains high.
Look at the logic here. You're citing the scope, the amount of work, as the reason, and you're promising quality as the result. You're telling your team that you care too much about the project to rush it.
Exactly. You're prioritizing the project's success. Now follow that up with a specific solution using phrase 23. Would it be possible to adjust the deadline to blank?
Always provide a new date. It shows you are still in full control of your schedule.
And if the deadline cannot be moved, use phrase 24. If we need to stick to the original timeline, which tasks should we prioritize for this first version?
Whew, that is a master-level phrase. You are putting the focus on strategic prioritization. You're saying, I can work fast or I can work on everything. Let's align on what matters most. Let's see how this looks in a high-pressure conversation. We really need that project by Friday at 5 p.m.
I understand the urgency, Liam. However, based on the current scope, I may need some additional time to ensure the quality remains high. If we need to stick to the original timeline, which key features should we prioritize for this version? These phrases are your professional safety net. They protect your time, your health, and your reputation.
We've handled the tough conversations and the tight deadlines, but there is one more situation that everyone fears more than anything else.
Making a visible mistake. How do you recover? How do you keep your head high when things go wrong?
In Part 9, we are revealing the professional recovery, the secret to turning an error into an asset. You don't want to miss this.
Let's talk about a moment we all dread. You've just realized there's a mistake in a report you sent, or you shared the wrong information in a team chat. Your first instinct might be to feel overwhelmed or to over-apologize.
Exactly. Many people think they need to say, "I'm so sorry," 100 times. But in the professional world, over-apologizing can unintentionally lower your perceived confidence.
At Business English for Success, we teach a different approach. A mistake is actually an opportunity to show your integrity and your problem-solving skills. Start with phrase 25. Thank you for catching that. I've updated the information to reflect the correct details.
I love this. By saying thank you for catching that, you are acknowledging the other person's attention to detail. You're turning a mistake into a collaborative moment.
And if the oversight was more significant, use phrase 26. I take full responsibility for the oversight. Here is my plan to resolve it immediately.
Full responsibility and oversight. These are powerful, clean words. When you own the situation and immediately provide a plan, you move the focus from the past error to the future solution. That is true professionalism. Let's compare the mindset shift here. Instead of an emotional apology like, "I'm so sorry, I messed up, I feel terrible,"
Try this instead. I take responsibility for the oversight. I've updated the file and adjusted my process to ensure accuracy moving forward.
that sounds like a person I want on my team, someone who is honest, fast, and constantly improving.
We've navigated daily talk, tight deadlines, and even mistakes. Now, how do you finish your interactions? The way you end a conversation or an email is the lasting impression you leave behind.
Don't just settle for a basic thanks. Use phrase 28. I appreciate your partnership on this.
Partnership. This word is gold. It suggests that you and the other person are equals working toward a shared success, regardless of your titles.
If you are a student or just starting out, use phrase 29. I'm looking forward to applying your feedback to the next version. It shows you have a growth mindset. You are coachable and you are hungry to learn.
And to stay proactive, use phrase 30. Let's keep the lines of communication open as this project evolves. Or phrase 31. I'm happy to hop on a quick call if you need further clarification.
Wait, we promised 35 phrases. Let's reveal the final success boosters to help you truly stand out. Emma, what's a good one for showing initiative?
That would be phrase 32. I'm keen to take on more responsibility in this area. And if you want to align with your manager's goals, use phrase 33. What would success look like for you in this specific task?
I love those. To show you're a self-starter, use phrase 34. I've taken the liberty of drafting a preliminary plan for us to review. And finally, the ultimate team player line, phrase 35. I'm committed to making this a success for the whole team.
These final phrases show that you aren't just doing a job, you are contributing to a vision.
We've covered 35 phrases today, but remember, these are more than just words. They are tools to help you be heard, respected, and valued in any professional environment across the globe.
You don't need a fancy office or a high job title to sound like a professional. You just need the right language to close the gap between your true talent and how people perceive you.
At Business English for Success, we are committed to your growth. If you found these phrases helpful, please let us know in the comments below. Which phrase will you use tomorrow?
Maybe it's aligning on priorities or taking a high-level overview. We'd love to hear your stories of how these phrases changed your workday.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more practical tools to help you succeed in your career. Your support helps us reach professionals just like you all over the world.
Thank you for sticking with us through this deep dive. Keep practicing, keep speaking with confidence, and we will see you in the next video.
Until next time, stay professional and stay successful. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.